Welcome to Mikon's Hardware. Battlefield 6 Open Beta has started, and yesterday I spent an entire day testing our beloved Intel Xeon E5-2697 v3. The CPU is almost 11 years old, but with the help of Turbo Boost Unlock, it's still hanging in there. For this video I tested 3 mid-range graphics cards that I had on my hand. These are AMD RX 7600 XT, Intel ARC B580 and Nvidia RTX 3060. In the video description you will find CPU-Z validation links with all the detailed hardware specification of my test benches. In short, I used the Chiida X99H9S motherboard, 32 GB of DDR4 2133 CL12 in quad-channel memory configuration, TPM 2.0 module for Windows 11 compatibility, and resizable bar was enabled for all tested GPUs, and of course that also includes Intel ARC B580. Finally, my Xeon E5-2697 v3 was Turbo Boost unlocked, and I undervolted it by -70, 50-50 mV. Battlefield 6 is an online shooter in beta stage, thus even though I tried to equalize the conditions and run a dozen of rounds with each GPU, the results must be taken as a very approximate performance overview. There will be some optimizations for the final version of the game, and of course the performance depends on what's going on the map and what map you are playing on. For testing, I used 1080p screen resolution with low graphical settings to reduce possible GPU bottleneck. All rounds were played using Conquest mode, and I used almost the same weapons every time. Now the actual numbers. AMD RX 7600 XT delivers a surprisingly good experience. On average, we get somewhere around 90-200 FPS, which is very decent. Still, the GPU utilization rarely goes above 90% and mostly hovers around 80% with occasional dips. Thus, it's safe to conclude that E5-2697 v3 is the bottleneck here. In many games, you would get annoying stutters when CPU does not keep up with the GPU, but not in Battlefield 6. I have to say that DICE did great job this time, and the game, even in its beta stage, runs very smoothly. The frame time graph is a good indicator of how stable the performance is, and please ignore these 1% and 0.1% numbers, as these always drop to minimum when I die and go back to spawn, and that happened a lot to me. With a strong CPU, Intel ARC B580 is faster than RX 7600 XT, but the Xeon E5-2697 v3 is anything but a strong gaming CPU. In short, ARC B580 struggles in Battlefield 6 when paired with the Xeon E5-2697 v3. On average, this combo delivers 75-85 FPS, which is good 15-20 FPS slower than what RX 7600 XT can offer. What's even worse is that the performance is unstable. The annoying micro stutters and occasional drops to about 50 FPS turns gaming into frustration. It's also very weird to see the GPU utilization is close to 100%, but the performance is far from ideal. Nvidia RTX 3060 is slower than AMD RX 7600 XT, but the performance in this case is very close when E5-2697 v3 is the bottleneck. All in all, gaming experience with RTX 3060 was slightly worse than with RX 7600 XT, while the GPU utilization was higher, often more than 90%. Even though we get almost the same 90-200 FPS, the game was not as stable as with RX 7600 XT. I certainly cannot blame the GPU for my lack of skills, but with RX 7600 XT, I never felt frustrated due to a frame drop or a micro stutter, while with RTX 3060 it happened every now and then. It's nothing dramatic like with ARC B580, but still it was there and it was kinda annoying. Memory and video memory consumption are very similar in all tested configurations. At 1080p with the low settings, Battlefield 6 requires about 12 GB of memory and about 5.5 GB of video memory. So in this case, even the RTX 2060 with its miserable 6 GB of video memory should be good enough, and that might be a good combo for the old aging LJ 2011 platform. Originally, I planned to test different presets and also add RX 7900 XT results, but something happened to my account, so I could not join any game. Maybe EA suspended it for frequent hardware change, I don't know yet, I will test a little bit later. Anyway, these results confirm that LGA 2011 version 3 platform is dying, but it is dying very slowly. Even in 2025, the lovely E5-2697 V3 can deliver very acceptable performance if the game is at least somehow optimized for multi-core CPUs with low IPC.
Thanks! Here's some ammo!
I've spotted hostile heavy armor in our AO.
I knew you had my back! Thank you!